Well, welcome back. About a year ago, Fox reported on Biden's TSA, placing now Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard on the Quiet Skies watch list. She says it was for criticizing Kamala Harris. She was required to undergo additional security screenings at airports, where federal agents then kept tabs on her activity. But now, this story is even bigger than we thought. According to Senator Rand Paul, lawmakers, veterans, mask critics, and even the wife of one air marshal was targeted for engaging in free speech. That air marshal spoke out on Capitol Hill.
On July 15, 2021, while serving in the Houston Field Office Operations Unit, I was monitoring special mission coverage flights in our area of responsibility. To my shock, I discovered that my wife, Christine, seated behind me, had been flagged in the FAMS system as a domestic terrorist. My wife, who has a disability that prevents her from walking long distances, had simply exercised her First Amendment right to attend a rally for President Trump before returning to her hotel.
And Arizona Congressman Abe Hamadeh says he, too, was a target.
My staff got a call from Senator Rand Paul's office and let us know that 3 Republican members of Congress were targeted and that I was one of them. One of the times that I was flagged was December of 2022. And what's interesting about that is that that was during the time period that I was challenging the results of my election in 2022 when I was running for Attorney General, where that race was decided by 280 votes out of 2.5 million. You know, this is a very legitimate challenge. This is something that, you know, both sides of the aisle have done routinely.
Senator Rand Paul is now calling for accountability.
I commend Secretary Noem for ending Quiet Skies, but our work is not done. We must make sure that this program does not come back under another name. Every official who directed or approved surveillance of Americans for protected speech must be removed from office.
My next guest testified to senators this week. Joining me now is president of Empower Oversight, which provides legal representation to whistleblowers across the federal government, Tristan Leavitt. Tristan, thanks for being with us here today. I actually want to start out with just a bit of an attempt at devil's advocate, because I would be very curious if you got before Congress the people in charge of the Quiet Skies program. How would they justify placing these individuals inside of the program? What would they say, for example, about Abe Hamadeh, about why he should be on Quiet Skies?
In his case, and in several of these, what they would try to say is that this is simply an automatic targeting. So, for instance, if you trigger certain rules of Quiet Skies, you're just flagged for this. And I think there's 2 significant responses to that. One is, I think that highlights what a waste this program is. In all of its years, it never found a single aviation security threat. And it's an instance where they're placing a large amount of money and resources up against something that, again, there's not any human involvement in. So
they're saying it's a set of rules. They're saying it's a set of rules that triggers an automatic response that puts your name on the Quiet Skies list. But that obviously leads to the question of what are the rules? Tell us the trigger mechanisms. How are you identifying people to be automatically placed into the program? I would love to know. And how much of it goes back, for example, to speech or positions you've held or things that you've said on social media?
Yes. And in the case, that just applies to Quiet Skies. There are many other individuals, and as you highlighted, it's not clear whether some of them were Quiet Skies or not, but either way, they got the same treatment, having extra screening, including 3 air marshals flying with them if they, for instance, were in D.C. to hear President Trump speak, like our client, Mark Crowder's wife, Christine. There wasn't an automatic rule there. They just said she was there. They had that false information in the record. They labeled her a domestic terrorist. Similarly with those that protested mask mandates in different areas. That's not a triggering because they flew to some area, some other country, like future Congressman Hamadeh did. That's something where they are deliberately saying, these are people that are a threat, and we're going to give them extra surveillance.
Okay, so when we cut out, quite honestly, Tristan, all the BS, all the rules, all the automatic triggers, all the human-based decisions, what was happening with Quiet Skies? How were they selecting? I mean, we don't have a comprehensive list. Now we just have 3 more names to add to Tulsi Gabbard, one of whom became a congressman. So what was happening? Were they targeting political opponents, people saying things or acting in ways that were inconsistent with what they wanted to see from their vision of America? How did you get on Quiet Skies?
Yeah, those are the answers they haven't told us yet. What I will say is, again, these three new examples, these are three current members of Congress, Republicans in Congress that have been monitored. Only one of them was a congressman at the time. But for instance, in the case of Tulsi Gabbard, they have tried to give a different explanation. They said she traveled through a certain place and it flagged her. But it's very clear that others traveled there, for instance, Mick Mulvaney. And so we don't know right now, but all the evidence that we have suggests that it was political targeting. That was because she spoke up against Kamala Harris very shortly after Kamala became the Democratic nominee last summer.
It's very hard not to arrive at that conclusion. And I do believe that it needs to be walked step-by-step evidentiary through it, which, of course, we need the information and get that evidence. But it's very hard to come to any other conclusion than that administration was placing its political opponents and adversaries on a watch list should you fly in this country. And I would love to see the evidence that contradicts that conclusion. Tristan, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.